The idea is that you'll be wearing like
beat with smoke, and my day one bros, they kept me close. Then I sit my technique, take a talk. They're trying to get me on the ropes. I broke it, especially in this cold.
Okay, so I became part of the Ruggeds in 2007, and the crew was already starting in 2005. I've known the guys my whole life, like I grew up with half of them. And then Jesse's father, he has a dancing school, and we all sat in the same class.
Actually, when we started, we all danced in a dancing school from his dad, actually. And yeah, so everybody came together there, but we were not a crew back then. You had like the older generation and the younger generation, or the younger kids who danced there. And because we saw each other so much, every week we practiced together, and then actually automatically it came together, you know. And then after a while, when we got better, we decided with everybody, you know, let's form a crew and let's take it more serious and let's
do battles.
Yeah, let's do some battles, you know, together.
I've been with the Ruggeds since the beginning, 2005, and I know everybody, or not everybody, but the people that started the Ruggeds, I know them before that. So I started dancing in 2001. Yeah, so I know them from around 2002, 2003. Together with Virgil and Jesse and three. Oh, okay, yeah, it's only three. Yeah, three of the pioneers left. Yeah, I always consider Roy also the same, because he was there from the beginning, in my feeling, but he wasn't part of the Ruggeds until later. Yeah.
And then we did battles as a crew called Rugged Solutions. And yeah, after when we did more commercial work, we realized that the Ruggeds would be a better name, and also it felt more like a family to call it the Ruggeds instead of Rugged Solutions. Yeah, actually it's also like a computer company on Google.
Before I was a Rugged member, I did breaking, and I did choreography at the same dancing school as from Jesse's father, and played soccer basically.
I enjoy doing other styles of dance, but I wouldn't call myself expert. You know, like I consider myself a b-boy, and then I take trips.
So with like commercial jobs, we also did like some choreography on the side, and it's an advantage if you can do like choreography and breaking at the same time.
Yeah. I also do house, but I started a little bit later with house, like I think maybe 8 years ago or 7 years ago. But we all did street dance back then, called street dance.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's where our love for different styles came, you know. That's why we all like hip hop, we all like house, we all like popping, and maybe in a way you see some elements of different styles in our dance.
We're developing along the way, kind of. The setup, it's like right now Unique is basically more the creative director of the Ruggeds. Then you have Roy, who does the choreography, like who's responsible at least, and the choreography we make it kind of together, but he like kind of structures it and puts it together and just cuts when a decision needs to be made. Like it's Roy's responsibility, and like I'm making the music for the shows that we do. So that's a bit like the structure of the rugged thing.
Artistic director for me is a complete bullshit term, but that's for funding and for other people to understand what we're doing. You know, for me it's more that it's my responsibility to make sure that everybody is involved in everything, that everybody knows that they have the power to change things, and to make the ideas of everybody reality. So if we say, okay, we're going to do this, then I make a game plan for it. But that's it. So it's not artistic, like I think in a lot of ways artistic director is it's putting your creative vision on something, and I'm a representative of the collective.
So there are no typical days for sure. There are also not typical weeks, but maybe a month. So for sure every month we're outside of the country at least 2 times to either do a show or a battle. And then during the month we do a lot of rehearsing in the studio, and when we have time off we also just practice with each other, eat with each other. We just don't sleep with each other. That's basically
So when we work on preparation of shows, new ideas, stuff like that, and then we have performance time where we are like on the road doing shows, battles, theater. So it can be anything. Yeah.
For breaking, it's really tough because that's why you see us marking a lot in rehearsals, because it's just your body just dies. It's like your body goes warm, cold, and like I think around 6 you're just done and you just want to go home. So after a long day, we just chill and rehearse. But for the rest, if we don't rehearse, then we're more active. I think we're practicing during the day, like solo sessions, and getting ready for competitions, for instance.
Okay, so if we practice for a battle, it's like based on battle tactics and just stamina and just being on point, basically. And like the creative part is right before, so you just create stuff what you want, and then as the battle is coming near, you have to clean everything and make sure it's on point, otherwise you lose a point in a battle. And then with rehearsing for a theater piece, it's way different because it's very open and we have more time to take our time and just create whatever we want. And then we just take more care of our body basically during rehearsals for a show, because we know the tour is coming up, so we need everyone, and we can't be exhausted, or if someone is injured, it's not going to be helpful for the tour, so we think about this more.
I'm exceptional in the sense that I do way too little, you know, and it's because of time. So for me it's just a time thing and a focus, so I have my focus on a lot of things, which makes it hard for me to say, oh, let me do a workout, let me do this, let me do that. And when I was doing a lot of battles, so I used to do a lot of competitions. At that time I would like train 6 hours a day. Now I rehearse 6 hours a day. You know? So it's a very different physical state.
So when you was training for battles, or when you was training to be where you are now, what would those training sessions look like?
I would get up every day around 8:30, start practice 9:30, would have morning practice until like 11 or 12, do like concepts, stretch, some strength exercises, stuff like that. Then I would usually teach some hours, and then I would have another practice session. So the mornings for me were about brain training and physical well-being, and then my evening practice would be about like the explosive side. Try to really execute and release. So like not focusing on sets or this and that, but like just dancing. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's like we've been at some point. Everyone has just been practicing like crazy, and we've done these movements so much that it's just in your muscle memory, like, and you don't have to constantly repeat it. For instance, it's still in your body, but it can be dangerous, like if you're not warm. So yeah, most of the time in rehearsal we're either marking it, doing it a bit half, so that we don't get like an injury.
After a while, I think after all those years dancing together, you develop a certain kind of technique together that's in your body, like Jesse is saying. And then like if he's saying, oh yeah, do a backflip or do this, cool, because it's so in your system.
Yeah.
So you trust each other. If we're doing stuff together, also like we can really rely on each other.
Yeah.
Like they were just doing a backflip hand in hand.
Yeah.
Without having to really discuss. You go first now. No. Yeah.
So since I do the choreography of the piece, I just watch everyone during rehearsals, and if I see if someone's really tired or if someone's not feeling well or whatever, I just take it down a notch, really, just to make sure that the next rehearsal is going to be good and the performances are going to be good as well.
Yeah.
The warming up and cool down is very important, especially with rehearsals, because not just for the body but also for like the team spirit. It sounds a bit corny, but it's true. Like if we warm up together as a unit, it's way better. Like we just start on the same page and then we keep on building from the same point, instead of people doing their own thing and then just everyone's everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
And then with battles, everyone just warms up by himself, because it's more I move different than Virgil and Nick, so everyone just does a different warm up just to be right where he wants to be for the battle. So.
Yeah.
Important, like I should do it more, you know, like like I can feel it if I make a mistake again to not warm up or cool down, you know. But many times I'm like, hey, I'm in the room, I have 2 hours, I want to dance, so I'm gonna, you know, like start.
So that in those sessions where you only have 2 hours, do you go slowly into it? No, you go straight into it.
Straight, maybe not straight, but yeah, like if I have 2 hours, I don't want to waste 30 minutes on stretching, you know what I mean? Then I just want to go.
So, like, do you think that your body has been built up from a young age so you're prepared for that though?
I mean, I was always a horrible, you know, like athlete in that sense. So yeah, maybe, but I don't think your body really gets used to it. It just gets like punched around all the time. You know? So maybe you might be used to some punches, but yeah,
okay.
I don't think it's good for your body. That's for sure. It's not. I wouldn't advise my.
The new ones coming through.
My approach to.
You're teaching.
No.
Warming up and cooling down is actually really important, but we don't do it enough. Also because you know, it's a long day and then you just want to get over with it, you know.
Yeah.
But actually, it's really important to start stretching together and then cooling down together, because in the long run you feel like you get more fit. And what we do now, actually, your body gets tired faster, you get sore faster. So it's really important. It's really, really important.
It should be a part of the rehearsal. Yeah. Like today we didn't do it, I think more because of time. But if we do a longer period, we try to maybe do some workouts before we start, stretch, and then I don't know, like a fun exercise also.
We all share the same physiotherapist because we really like him and he just knows us very well.
Yeah.
He follows us, he knows exactly what we're doing, and like he's very honest. Because if I have a minor injury in my wrist but nothing's gonna be broken or whatever, he just tells me, okay, take some pain meds. You can do this battle this weekend, and then after we're gonna make sure it's gonna be alright. So for us, it's really nice to work with someone like this because we have to do stuff. You know, it's very important. And then everything we kind of used, because some people they sometimes go to how do you say it, like for a diet.
Like a dietitian or nutritionist.
Yeah, like okay, so some people they go to a nutritionist sometimes just to check what's beneficial for them, and then all of these things like they're in our healthcare, so we don't really pay for it actually because we pay every month a certain amount of money, and then I can go 35 times to the physio in a year if I want. So we just go to that guy and then he makes everything right.
Okay.
It's not an in-house physio, but I met him along the way, and to me he's a very, very skilled physical therapist. So he has a lot of different tools to work with, and because he comes from professional soccer, he understands the mentality of athletes, and that it's useless to go to a physio that tell you, you shouldn't do that anymore. If a physio tells you that, it's the wrong type of person for you, because you're gonna do it regardless. So he knows that. Like I had a neck injury, and then if he would know, okay, it's really dangerous, he would tell you to not do it, of course. But he always tries to think of, okay, you have to do it. So how are we gonna get you in shape, or how are we gonna make sure that you get through what you have to get through? You know?
Knee.
Yeah, almost everyone had like a knee injury or a surgery, like meniscus or ACL that has been torn, and I think also wrist a lot. Shoulders. Now I have like my rib and my back. Like if your rib is bruised, it's super shit. Because when you're doing like an ab kind of movement, you already feel it, or when you're crunched, it's just the worst thing also.
Yeah.
And neck.
Yeah, neck also. Basically, like after a while, because we've been dancing so long, you know. So after a while, you have to keep working on your body, because if you don't do that in the right way, the injuries come faster and faster and faster and faster. So now we see now, okay, we have to go to the physio more often, we have to stretch more often, and maybe have a better pattern in our daily routine, instead of like back in the days when you're young, you just
go to practice, throw down.
Yeah, and then you go home, do that little fat, okay, I'm good. So to prevent all these injuries, we also got like a little bit more knowledge now, because we want to do this at least 7 more years or 6 more years, I don't know. And if we don't do that, then it's going to be over soon,
Yeah. Is there anything else that you think that would help your physical well-being?
I think what could help, if someone who is like a specialist in movement, maybe, I don't know if there's something like this, but like who can analyze my body and just say, okay, if you're doing a warming up, you really have to do this, or if you're gonna do strength and conditioning, you really have to do that, because everyone is just doing stuff that they know and what feels right. And then of course we go to a physiotherapist, and then we have one guy in the crew, he does personal training, so he knows a lot of stuff, but it's not very analytical. It's just, okay, you can do this to become stronger, but my body's way different than Nick's body. So I think this could help us a lot, just to be able to perform always and being like the best at the moment.
We come from nothing, right? So everything that we do, we did it ourselves. So this type of things are coming on our path slowly, but it's we don't have time for stuff like that. Like this is for big companies or big theaters that, you know, like, that have enough time on their hands. And we are always running. So we have to choose what are we going to run to. Are we going to run this way, that way? You know, but we can't do everything.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that always, like, I know it would be beneficial. It would be good to have more focus on it, but you only have that much focus in total, you know?
The level we dance, we should have like a dietist or something like this, or something, or a facility or some place where we can gain more knowledge about food, etc. Because, you know, it's still a street dance, you know. So because of this, and it's more because of the love and the culture, instead of being it more like a professional sport, I think our approach is still a little bit like this. But I think it would be really good to think about, okay, how maybe once in a month or twice in a month go to a dietist and check, is my schedule, is my food diet, is it good? Maybe I gain more strength or more flexibility if I change this in my diet, for example. Personally, I think it should be good to do this a few times in a month, I think, because now I'm just gambling. Now I'm just gambling and hoping that I eat good, you know. And he's a vegan, so I think.
I'm just eating. My food is vegan. I just eat plant-based, and I don't know. For me, it feels good. I feel that I need to eat like meat or drink milk or lactose products. Like I can just make it through the day with my energy being consistent and like still have my power and stuff. Yeah, it feels good for me.
How is your mental well-being prepared for?
Since we know each other for such a long time, like everyone knows, okay, this guy, he's able to do these amount of hours and he can go further if we need to, etc., etc. So I think like the machine that is the Ruggeds works so good because we know each other through thick and thin, and that's why like our mental being is it's pretty good and prepared on almost everything. And if we're not prepared, then there's always someone who pulls the rest through it. So
we have a good understanding. We are very open, like always willing to help each other out, you know. I think that's also one of the reasons that we are still together and still having fun also, you know. Like it shouldn't be like this forced thing or a fake thing, and it's a genuine family that we have, you know. So it's
you know, after a while working together for a long time, you gain you have a certain amount of respect for each other. So because of this, I think we are still a crew, you know, because sometimes you just have to take it. If you don't like something, and you go for it to scream, or you right away say something against somebody else, you build a certain amount of tension, you know, and then, you know, it's not nice anymore to rehearse. And back in the days, it was like this. When we did our first theater show, then we realized, like, okay, because everybody had the same amount of input, and after a while, it just, you know, was like a mess. So after this first tour, we realized, okay, if we change this and this and this, then it's more peace, in the rehearsal, and because of this, people learned about their own behavior. And if you see each other like every day, also, you learn. Okay, how can I have a better vibe, work vibe within the rehearsal? And I think everybody learned from this every year and every day we see each other. Yeah.
What mental barriers and what stresses and what demands have you experienced?
A lot, I think, because it's a very short-term career, you know, like a dancer, and then especially a b-boy is like take another 15 years off, you know. So it's I think it's you have a midlife crisis at like 29, 28. Like most people have that when they're like 50 or something. So yeah, like I think that is a challenge. Yeah. But at the same time, I think it's really healthy, you know. But I can imagine that a lot of people struggle with it. I mean, I also struggle with it, but I think it's a healthy struggle, you know, that you have so early on always have to think of nothing is sure in life. You don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. You have to run to keep on going. If you stop moving, everything stops. You know? All this stuff, I think it's it's not fit for everybody. That's for sure. You have to be strong mentally as well as physically.
I like to work with other dancers as well, of course. But the thing is with the crew, because I know everyone's so good, I know exactly what's gonna happen, and I feel less stress and pressure because we know the environment we're in, and I know everyone, so I know exactly what someone's gonna give me and what I'm gonna give him. And with other dancers, it's a bit different. Of course, it's nice to have new energies and being able to perform with other performers, but like you have to be on a certain degree more professional because you're with other people. And it's not that I don't know you for 20 years, so we're gonna interact differently socially and on a business level. So
say in rehearsals, how important is the structure of the day to you?
It's really important because we don't have much time most of the time, and it's like you really want to finish it. Not at the end. Like today was we couldn't really finish, and Roy made like a schedule already. So imagine like we don't have a schedule. It's just the worst. But lunch is really set, and it's nice because you know like we need to finish before 2 because then everyone's just gonna go away for an hour, and you can really feel more like everyone's working harder. I think there's structure.
The structure of the day is very important for me, especially because I do the choreography, so I have to know what I have to do and when it's gonna be finished. So I make an indication of everything, and just like Nick is very good in time management, so he just says, okay, I'm gonna tell him we have to do this, this, and this. Then we're gonna be like, okay, this is the schedule, and if we like make too many minutes or too many hours, he's gonna be like, yo, focus, because we need to finish this, and like, okay guys, focus up, we need to do this, restructure everything, and then just keep on going. Structure is important because if it's too free, nothing's gonna be finished.
Do you have like a set structure for each rehearsal week? So let's say you had like 2 rehearsal days this week, would they both be structured the same as in like?
Kind of. So the structure is almost every day the same. So we just start with warming up with everyone, then we dive into a scene or whatever, and through a concept we make something, then it's break time, then we're gonna do something with this concept or this scene, then run it a few times, take notes, maybe run it again, do the cooling down, and then it's finished. But as if the process is further, then it's gonna change a bit, because then it's time management kicks in, and then we're gonna be like, okay, we're not gonna research this concept anymore because we need to finish this scene.
Like, I think I resolve a lot of things on my own, and I resolve a lot of things with my wife or my parents. That's like, I think everybody should have people that they can express their problems to. But I think it's really important also, like in the crew, to always have that feeling that people should be able to make their fears known, like, because it's it's something to always be with the same people who do something and really try to build something. So it's really the comparison of a family. So if your uncle is annoying at parties, like, he's still your uncle. He's there at every party. You won't tell your uncle like, yo, you can't come anymore. So for us it's the same. If somebody is lazy, then you are dragging somebody along. So that's that happens. But everybody has periods, right? Like, I mean, nobody's perfect, and that's the other beauty of being a crew, is that you have that opportunity sometimes to say, like, let me be the weak link for a little while. I think I need to step back a little bit, and somebody else will carry the weight. So.
I think it's getting better, like, along the way. Because we've known each other now, like, for since 2005 we've been a crew. But like as we're adults now, like, you can really talk about anything, like it's really like a family now. And, like, his problem is, like, for instance, everyone's problem. We really talk about it, and I don't feel like anyone is feeling like not that you don't feel able to, like, share anything.
True. But still, in a way, I think there's still a macho maturity vibe around it. I think still. So, for example, I think if there's a real issue, then we would speak about it, But I'm sure, for example, there's stuff that you would discuss with your girl earlier, faster than with somebody from the crew, for example.
If you're having mental issues.
No, not like mental issues. It's like maybe extreme way to say, but. For example, that you would rather some stuff you would rather say to your girlfriend, maybe, or discuss, than maybe in a masculine group,
I get what you mean, but it depends. Like, if we're in rehearsal and you can really tell someone is off, then
then exactly.
Then we have, like, a little moment of breakdown where everyone just sits together and just talks it out,
What do you think that hip hop theatre artists need to prepare them for professional work and professional experience?
Okay, that's a good one. I think it's not different than just getting thrown into any other company or world, because you just have to be prepared on what that world is and what your position is in that world. Because a lot of people from the hip-hop scene, they can make crazy stuff, but then you're not in a cypher, you're on a stage, so that's already different. And then having to work with other people then besides your crew is also very different. And then theaters, they work 2 to 3 years ahead of schedule, so that's already very different. So we're very good at adapting to situations, but it usually happens too late, I think. Because when we used to start with, when we started with theater, like, we just did what felt right, and then we had some people around us who could help us a little bit, but then in the end, you just get thrown in, and then you're like, okay, so this is it, and then you're not prepared on everything, you know. So I think what's important for people from the hip hop community is not to try to dive in, but to prepare yourself more and then step into this world, because it's so different than the battle scene.
Yeah.
I think our setup is really good.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this for a long time, and then we kind of adapted and added theater into our setup, and it just works really good. Like, we have a lot of people working for us, helping us. Like the city helps us, and every one of our crew, they kind of look in the same direction. So if you run with 8 people towards there, you're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah.
So a lot of people underestimate the crew, really, and the people behind the crew, because they're also very important. And just making sure that, like, business-wise, everything is correct.
Yeah.
Because you can be the best b-boy in the world, but if your business sucks, then you're nowhere. Yeah. Okay, so one thing what's really nice is we are able to sit around the table with like people from the funds and with like the big companies of Holland, and then it's really nice to ask these certain people like questions, or just let them explain how they experienced the last couple of years, because we're starting at those years basically. So that's really nice, and I think they should happen more often. And that just like the big houses, they should just open their house, really, especially for us, because there's gonna be a change soon, like in the contemporary world, and it's already like a bit happening, but it's gonna happen sooner than we think, because everything that's contemporary is based of a lot of classical stuff, but it's gonna shift towards us. And if those people, like those houses who are making contemporary stuff now, show us the way they're doing it, and help us prepare for this shift, then it's not those people who are gonna make stuff with us, but then it's us making our own stuff in the end. Yeah, I think that's really important, because we've talked to certain houses, and just having them open their books and having this just exchange of a cup of tea is so nice, just to be able to talk as humans, and this just helps our organization.
Cool. Professional work and prepare them to keep alive, basically, like physically and mentally. What advice or what do you think other people need?
I think by experience you gain certain amount of knowledge. So if you start with something and it's the first thing you do, then it's still new. So if you do it more, you learn, and it's like a process. And I think it's almost impossible to do like the first thing. If you start something new, to be a professional straight away. So
just be happy with where you are. That's super important. Like, I think if we watch back shows from what's it now, like 10 years ago, it's so funny to watch. But like back then we were okay with it, you know, and it meant like the world to us. And at that time, like for a lot of people, we were like super great. But yeah, maybe now like if people look back, like they think we were shit, for instance. But yeah,
and maybe in 5 years still the same, you know. Maybe in 5 years we go look at the show we have now and think like, this is you know, it's just, you know, evolution and learning.
And don't be afraid to fail. Just throw yourself in the deep water, as we would say in Dutch.
Well, if there's anything else that you wanted to add about your experience as an artist, or with the ruggies, or just anything in general?
Pioneering, so entrepreneurship, creating something out of nothing. Really going for something.
Yeah, there's one thing maybe. So since the hip hop or the urban people are new in theater, it's hard to put ourselves in a good position. I mean, that's the feeling we have, because even now, like, there are this big contemporary choreographers, they pick like people, and then it's their piece, but it's his movement quality, and he isn't even mentioned. This is really annoying, but also what happens is that a lot of people, they just want to work with certain people, and then they are not getting paid or whatever just to be there, and in the end, like on the long term, it's gonna, you're gonna cut yourself in the fingers basically, because if I'm stepping into a world and I'm positioning myself here, it's gonna take forever to be on the same level as them. And this also applies to the new people or the people who are already working in this theater world. For example, us, if we're producing a new theater piece, of course I'm gonna make sure that I pay my dancers good, everyone. Because if I don't, then they have to work themselves up to be on the same skill. Eventually it just takes more time. So yeah, that's one thing I think is really important. Just make sure everyone gets paid. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, creating is great. I love to create. That's the only thing I do, but don't position yourself under other people, really. That's so important. And then make sure you have the right people surrounding you.
Yeah.
For me, that's the most important thing that happened. And I made sure, okay, we need someone for production, we need someone for our PR. If it's not the right person, try to work with someone else, because it's like we're moving as a unit. It's not just me making choreography, it's everyone. Yeah. That's it.